welcome to Elderflower Stitches. I am Suzie. You can find me on Instagram, Ravelry, my blog and on Etsy as Elderflower Stitches. I will put the links for all of those pages in the description box below so that you can find them easily. On my blog you will find all of the podcast show notes, so I will include all of the names of patterns, people that I've mentioned, yarn shops and haberdasheries where I found the fabrics and all of those things. So if you want any more specific details, then make sure you check out my blog and have a look at the show notes. Mainly because this is going to be really rambly. I'm going to forget all of the names of things, and if you want to find the information, the blog's the best place to do that. What else do I need to say? On my show notes I'll also put some really detailed photos of things because I just don't know how well my camera is going to focus, so yeah, apologies for that. Hopefully you will bear with me if it's not very good and it's a bit blurry, but I'll put some more detailed photos on there. So yeah, okay, about me then. So I'm Suzie, I've said that bit. I am from East Sussex in England. I am a primary school teacher, so I work full-time, and knitting and sewing is my calm down at the end of the day. I come home, make myself a coffee and sit down and watch some rubbish TV and do a bit of knitting or a bit of sewing. I've been knitting and sewing for gosh, how long now? Years. I've been sewing for a lot longer than I've been knitting. I did textiles GCSE when I was a teenager, so I learned how to use sewing patterns, and then that's 15 years ago, so I've been sewing for quite a while, and then knitting probably regularly for the last 5 years, especially as there's been a rise in indie dyers and indie patterns that I just feel are much more accessible for me and much more the kind of thing that I want to be making and wearing. So I've definitely, my knitting has increased and sometimes takes over from the sewing. I go up and down with the two of them. So this podcast is going to encompass both of them. Yes, that's a bit about my knitting and sewing. So I live with my husband Joe. We've been together since we were teenagers, and we recently just celebrated our 6th wedding anniversary on Friday, so that was really lovely. Yeah, we have a very gorgeous but quite sassy cat called Beatrice. She's gorgeous, very fluffy and very cute. She's a bit of a madam sometimes. I'm sure that you'll get to meet her as this podcast continues. Yeah, she's very sweet, very naughty though. What else do I need to tell you? What else do people normally say in these things? Do you like to see my mug? As podcasters always show their mugs. So this very sweet mug is from Sainsbury's, which is my danger zone, because I go in there to do the weekly shop and I end up buying a couple of mugs, a towel, some cushions, a photo frame, and suddenly I've spent the same amount on homewares as I have spent on the food shop. So it's kind of a bit of a risky move, but they have such gorgeous home stuff in there at the moment. It's really modern, but not too modern, not really fussy. Yeah, I like it, so I spend a lot of time buying things in there. So okay, right, this podcast is going to be, I'm going to, if you don't mind Amy, copy your way of doing sewing first and then knitting, and I'll put a timestamp in, so if you're only here for one or the other then you can just watch the bit you're interested in. But I'm going to add in an extra section all about mending and trying to be a little bit more eco-aware in the crafting world, and maybe a little bit beyond it as well, because I'm very aware as a crafter that I buy lots of stuff and then I don't use it, or yeah, that sort of thing. So that will be an extra section about things that I've been mending and how I'm trying to be a little bit more eco-friendly in my crafting. And then at the end of this video there will also be a bit of footage from my bank holiday weekend. So for our wedding anniversary we had a lovely day out at Greenbridge Place, which is got this beautiful woodland and just so sweet and pretty. And if fairies exist, they are definitely living there, because it was just magical. We saw, we were having this picnic, and then deer were like sat right like 20 feet away, just kind of just dozing, and it was the most amazing experience. And then after that we spent the bank holiday weekend in Bath, and we rented a canal boat for my mum's special birthday this year. Special birthday, but I won't say the number, Mum. So we rented this lovely canal boat, and I filmed some footage of like going along the river, which was so beautiful. I cannot tell you how amazing it was. It was like, you know, spending this time, precious time with our family, lovely food, glass of Pimm's, knitting, and you know, it's like going along the river, ducks swimming around, and oh, it was so gorgeous. So I thought you might enjoy seeing a little bit of that, so I've put some footage of that in at the end. Okay, on to the sewing then. Last month, was it last month or the month before, I made this amazing red dress with like bell sleeves and a little keyhole detail with a little tie, and it was amazing, and it was lovely for this special event that we went to. But I was so late finishing it that it became really stressful, and it basically like sucked up all my enthusiasm for sewing. And then I was like, I just don't feel like sewing anything. So even though it's been the summer holidays for me and I'd normally sew loads, I haven't really. But what I have been doing is making some little project bags, because they're really quick and easy, and then they're like this, you feel like really successful very quickly without the stress of hand making bias binding out of crepe. Yes, so project bags, I used this pattern from Indigo Designs, and I did the Leah bag. So it comes as a set of 3 patterns, and one of them's like an origami sort of tie-up one, and one is where you've got like 2 loop straps, and you can put one over the other and put one on your arm. So probably we'll have a go at making those as well, but I really love the drawstring idea. It's kind of the classic knitting project bag that I've seen, so I wanted to have a go at making that one. It's got really simple, easy to follow instructions with photos of each of the different stages, and you also get the pattern for 2 different sizes, so you can make a small and a large. So the small says for 1 to 2 skeins, and the large is for 2 to 4 skeins, I think. Oh, it doesn't say on this bit, it must just say on the website. However, I would say the small one is perfect for socks, gloves, that kind of thing. The large one is probably better for things like maybe a hat and scarves, but actually it's probably not big enough for some of the bigger projects like a shawl or a jumper or a cardigan, because I'm making a wrap and it's kind of squashed in the large one. So I will probably scale it up and make some bigger ones if I'm going to make it for bigger projects. But okay, here are the 2 small ones. So I used, I used cord for the drawstring, and this fabric is from, so these were all from a collection of fat quarters from Hobbycraft, which I pretty much bought because of the ones with blue tits on. They're my favourite bird. And then this fabric and the white fabric on this one is from a haberdashery in Faversham in Kent. I can't remember what it was called, but I will put it in my show notes if I can work out what it was called. But these were just linen remnants. So I don't know what the fabric composition is or whether like what the supplier is, but they've sewn up really nicely. And I used that for the lining as well, so it's the same. Though in hindsight, I think a white lining would have been better, because it just would have made the white of the fabric a bit more lively, especially on the gingham one. You can almost see the like dark blue through it, though it does look nice as a contrast. So yeah, Indigo Bird Designs Leah drawstring bag. Fabric from Hobbycraft, quite recent, so you might still be able to get them. And then the bases were just some linen from a haberdashery. So those are my project bags. I really like the pattern. It was really nice and simple to follow, but I think that next time I'm going to try and find a way of having the drawstring channel as like a separate bit of fabric, rather than, because there's quite a lot of bulk there, so when you pull it up together it's like things could fall out. I don't know, it looks really nice, nice and simple, easy to follow, but I think I might kind of now I know how to make them do my own thing and try some stuff out. But yeah, here it is. This is the large one, which I've been using to keep my dust of snow wrap in, which I'll show you in my knitting section. Works in progress. Now, I don't know how long something can be a work in progress and still count as a WIP, because technically I started this quilt a very long time ago. So my husband and I were living in a little flat in Little Chelsea when we first got married, and we've been married for 6 years and that's when I started making this quilt, so it's pretty old. It's already been used because I kind of got fed up and decided that I just wanted to use it, so it's got like coffee stains and all sorts, so apologies, don't look too closely, but it's just a really simple herringbone quilt. I didn't use a specific pattern, I just kind of got some inspiration from Pinterest and went for it. And it's basically almost done, except I haven't done the binding around the edge. And next time I would do some sashing around the edge to make it bigger, and also so that the herringbone blocks don't go right up to the edge of the quilt, because I think it would look nicer with a plain white border. But yeah, that's my work in progress, and I am really going to try and finish the binding and make sure that it gets done, because it's been waiting 6 years. Okay, sewing acquisitions then. Right, so my mum and I have a bit of a habit of making our way around all of the haberdasheries in in our local area. So we went to one in a town called Hailsham, and it's called the Pumpkin Patch, and I picked up some really cute fat quarters. So I've got this one, which has got an ivory background and little roses on, so sweet. And then this one, which is an ivory background again with little flowers, and these adorable little blush trailing stems, and then 2 plain fat quarters in like a blush, and then this is like a cream. So they are probably, I thought about making project bags, but then I'm not sure if that's unrealistic because they're very pale colours, they might get quite dirty. So it might be more that I make something for keeping at home. Could still be a project bag, but just one that's not going in my handbag. Then I got a little hoop and some embroidery floss in some gorgeous colours. So we've got this dusty rose, which is, these are anchor threads, and it's 1008. And then like a peachy pink, which is number 9 or number 6. And then like a pinkier one, which is number 8. And then a corally pink, this one is number 9. And then a really pale blush, which is 1011. I'm going to have a go at printing out and then embroidering my little Elderflower Stitches logo onto a little round hoop, and then I can just hang it up in my craft room, like above my workspace, and then I thought that would be nice and inspiring and pretty. Yes, so that's all for sewing this time. There'll probably be a few more garments next time, as I've like got the bug back now for sewing, and I've got over the stress of making my my ladies' night dress, which was, yeah, beautiful and had loads of lovely comments on it, but it was quite a stressful make, so it kind of put me off for a while. Yes, so that's it for sewing. If you're interested in knitting, then stick around, but if you were just here for the sewing, then thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Right, let's have a sip of coffee and then talk about knitting. Right, okay, let's talk knitting then. So I have kind of got a finished object to show you, but I made it a little while ago, but there's a little story to tell you, so I'm going to show you now. So I made myself a boho blush shawl by Andrea Mowry, and I was inspired because loads of people online are doing them, or have already done them. I was kind of late to the party, but I'd never made a shawl before, and I thought, well, I've knit socks and hats and gloves. I've knit like quite small projects. I was quite nervous about taking on something bigger and thinking, will I actually finish it? I don't know. So I commented on somebody's, I think it was Amy from the Little Tailoress, and said, I haven't made shawls before, which one would you recommend? And she said the boho blush is a really nice one because there's lots of plain garter stitch in there. So thank you for the recommendation, Amy. I made it and I absolutely love it. This yarn is actually one that I dyed myself because I just couldn't get hold of what I wanted. And the base is an alpaca, silk and cashmere yarn. It's a 4-ply, but it's quite a loose twist. I don't know if you'll actually be able to see anything because I have no idea how well my camera focuses, but I'm going to give it a try. And it's really fluffy. Yes, so it's alpaca, silk and cashmere, and it's gorgeous, and I dyed it up, and I called this colour Point Shoes because it reminds me of the like really light peachy pink colour of a ballerina's point shoes. So it's gorgeous, and I'm just so glad that I discovered shawls because I'm not one for having my shoulders or arms on show, but you don't always want to wear a cardigan, but it's perfect for just covering up like shoulders and put a nice pin. And it actually doesn't make you really hot because it's, I suppose this is made from all natural fibres. It's quite good at like allowing you to breathe underneath, I suppose. I'm totally sold on shawls, so I'm definitely be making more. And I actually made 2 others. I made 2 more boho blush shawls for two of my grandmothers, Peggy and June, because they both had their birthdays back in June. So I dyed them up each a special yarn of their kind of favourite colours. So one Nan, Peggy. Should I show you? I'll go and get it. Hang on. Okay, so one Nan, Peggy, she always wears lots of lilac. So I decided to make hers in lilac, and it's the same yarn, so it's alpaca, silk and cashmere, but it's in this colour. And I call it Nanny's twin set, or Nan's twin set, because she likes to wear a little twin set, you know, like a short sleeved sweater and then a cardigan, and she definitely has one in this colour. And then my other Nan, June, she loves to wear light blue. She's a real summer colouring like me, so fair with blue eyes, so a nice light blue for her. So those are 2 yarns that I dyed up especially for them, and I made their shawls from them. And I gave them to them for their birthday. So obviously I can't show you them as finished objects, but you'll just have to trust me, they were very beautiful. But I changed the pattern slightly. So on the boho blush, you've got sections of brioche around here, which I'd never done before and was actually really quite easy. And then these sections of like feather lace or fan lace, which are lovely. But I designed my own little lace block to go in their shawls. So in my Nan Peggy's one, because it was a purple colour, I made like a little lavender style lace, and then for my Nan June, I made like little forget-me-not style flowers. Yeah, so they were like really special presents for them. So although I can't show you those, the finished objects, I can tell you about them. Works in progress. I have 2 works in progress for my knitting at the moment. The first one is my second one of these. So it's a kaboot cat, which is squashed in here. Oh my goodness, look at the state of that pattern. I have to find the front of it now. So the kaboot cat is by Caitlin Hunter, and I'm sure that lots of you will have seen the kaboot cat before. So that rustling is probably really loud, isn't it? But it looks like this. So it's ribbed, and then you've got like it's a twisted rib, I think, and then you've got like cabling to make it into like little triangles, and then you've got a bit of moss stitch and then some bobbles. Yeah, I made one already, which I wear all the time when it's chilly, so I wore it loads last winter, and then I'm making another one. This one is in Sublime Superfine Alpaca DK, which is probably one of the softest, squishiest yarns ever. And then I think this was just Rowan Kid Silk Haze, but it's basically like mohair. And then what's happened? It's been squashed in my bag. All I have done so far is the twisted rib, and then I need to move on to the cabling bit. But I've had to buy some new cable needles because I don't know what I did my last ones. Yeah, all these needles, by the way, are Knit Pro Novas, and they are, what are they called? Interchangeable, is that the right one? So they have, they twist off, and then you can like attach them. You can change sizes really easily. So for this one, like you change size after you've done the first bit of ribbing. It's really easy to do that because you just like twist it off and add them on. And I got those as a little Christmas present last year from my mum and dad, which was very nice. So that's that. I've only done the ribbing, and I'll probably, it's quite a brain power one at the moment because I'm just going into the really detailed sort of crown shaped ribbing and cabling bits. So that's not a watching Peaky Blinders kind of knit. That's a knitting a knitting knit, so I can't do that one at the moment, but I will return to it soon, I'm sure. Okay, next up is Dust of Snow Wrap, which is, oh, I've left the pattern in the bedroom where I was knitting last night. It's by, who is it by? Curious Handmade, Helen Stewart for Curious Handmade, and it's the Dust of Snow Wrap, which is from her Knit Vent collection from last year, which I didn't actually do as a knit vent last year, but it has like perfect patterns in, just totally my style. So I thought, okay, I'll pick up the Knit Vent pattern collection, and then I can have a go at some of the patterns. So it is worked in fingering weight yarn with a strand of mohair held together. It's designed for a set of basically Advent 24 mini skeins, but I made myself an Advent calendar last year with 24 micro skeins, so they're half the weight, they're only 10 grams each. So because I knew that wouldn't be enough yarn, instead of knitting in the 4.5mm needles that are suggested, I've gone with 3.5. So it's turning into more of like a scarf than a shawl, which is fine with me. It's quite a dense knit, but I managed to get each of the sections from my little 10-gram micros with like the tiniest bit left over, so that's pretty handy. I've got my little progress keeper on there. It's my little boho bee one. You can find him in my Ravelry, not my Ravelry, in my Etsy shop if you're interested. It comes with some little stitch markers as well. So that's my Dust of Snow. I'm knitting it from some yarns, like I said, that I dyed for my advent calendar last year. I don't remember, I did give them all names, but I don't remember what they all are now. But I've finished the pink and purple section, and now I'm moving into like the peach and purple section, and then I'm going into like a yellowy and greeny and then blue. So it's basically been like a rainbow of all the little minis that I dyed up. They're still quite pastel-y, and then it will be a nice little scarf basically. I'm on colour number 10 or colour number 11, so nearly halfway. Very exciting. As I said, it's kind of the project bag, although it says a large size with the Dust of Snow wrap in there. That's pretty cosy, and it's, like I said, only a third of the way through, and I haven't got all the minis that I'm using in here, so I think I'm probably going to need to make a bigger bag to keep that in, otherwise it's just going to be too squashed. Finished objects, works in progress. Okay, now here is where I have, oh look, there's the pattern. I'm sure you'll have seen it before, but that's the Dust of Snow wrap by Helen Stewart for Curious Handmade. I'll put that back in my project bag. Okay, I have been doing quite a bit of acquiring for knitting. So I will show you, I'll show you first the bits that I've been buying, and then I've got a few bits of yarn that I've been dyeing up. So, okay, first, these really sweet little progress keepers are from the Woolly Tangle, who you can find on Etsy, I believe. Yeah, etsy.com/thewoolytangle. And these little triangle progress keepers, not progress, did I say that before as well? Stitch markers. You get 10 on the hoop. They're very sweet, very simple, and hopefully I will get using those in a project soon. Then I have this sweet little mini from, where's my card gone? It's from Debbie at Down Sheepy Lane, and she put in, oh, I don't know where I put it now. Oh, here it is, it's hiding. She put in this lovely, no, that's from Loom. She put in a lovely little stitch marker to go with my mini. But this mini I had to buy, you see, because it was called Suzie Poo, and Suzie is my name. So, I mean, it literally had my name on, so I had to treat myself to those. Next up is this beautiful set of minis from the Fibre Fox, and they are called Cherry Blossom. They are sock minis, so they're superwash merino with nylon, and each of them is a 20-gram mini, and it's like a fade from like a plain cream, and then cream and pink, dusty pink, and then a dark dusty pink. So I'm thinking maybe a little pair of fade socks in like quite a simple repeating patterns, like not necessarily a simple pattern. I don't know. Have you got any ideas? What could we make with those? But I think socks that start with the pink at the toe and then work their way up into the paler colour. And this, oh my, from Loom, along with a gorgeous tea bag from Jess, which is rhubarb and custard, and actually smells like rhubarb and custard. Okay, this is very, very gorgeous. It is called White Peach, and it is a 4-ply superwash merino with nylon. It's a nice high twist. I can see it's like, yeah, quite a good high twist there, so that'll be really good for socks. And it is just gorgeous. It's got this like slightly dusky peachy pink, and like variegated, and oh my, so pretty. I feel like it's almost too pretty for socks, that I'm going to want it like on mittens or something so everyone can see how gorgeous it is. But I'm very excited to get that wound up in a cake so that I can use it, because it's gorgeous. What else? Okay, so I did some dyeing, hand dyeing. It's something that I did last year because I didn't manage to get an advent calendar, and I was kind of like, I want a little bit of yarn to open every day, it's so pretty. So I dyed up my own little micro skeins, and I had so much fun. You don't quite know how it's going to turn out until it dries out. But I love it. So yes, I've been doing a little bit of yarn dyeing, and this is the same colourway as my boho blush shawl. So this is the point shoes colourway, and it's on a high twist sock yarn. It's like super messy, sorry. But so beautiful, love that. Then I have peach Bellini, so it's like a darker version of the peach. This one isn't a high twist, so I ordered this bare yarn before I realised that a high twist was really useful for sock yarn, so I'll probably have to use this for something else. But look at the colours in there, so pretty, I love that. And then this one is the messiest. Oh my, what little muddle you're in, come on. This one I am calling Raspberry Ripple. Look at those colours, oh my gosh. Like pinks and really pale pinks, and then like little bits of plain white. So yeah, Raspberry Ripple, love that one. And then this one doesn't have a name yet, so I kind of need your help to name it. But it's this gorgeous coral with peachy pink bits in as well. So let's think of a name for that one. Let me know if you can think of a nice name for that one. And then we have got this lovely lavender with a price tag attached from something else, not the yarn. Yeah, like a lavender colour, some lighter bits. I find that purple takes in a different way to the other colours. You have to really soak it in the purple dye for quite a while for it to pick up the colours, but then you get this really nice kind of tonal effect with it, which is lovely. And then this like magenta colour, which yeah, is lovely. Again, like quite tonal, some bits are lighter, some bits are darker, some little speckly pink bits in there as well. That's all of them. I have got another skein that I've dyed up as well, but I'm going to talk about that in the giveaway because I've decided to add it into the giveaway. Oh, and one more thing, though it's not really knitting related, it kind of is. I've got this sweet little brooch that says Cat Lady on it, which is absolutely me, and I love wearing it on my boho blush and just like pinning it with that. So I picked that up from a little shop in Brighton in the Lanes. I think that's it. Did I remember everything? Surely not. Okay. Oh yes, I need to tell you a little bit about my progress keepers. So I mentioned when I was showing you my dust of snow wrap that I've got some little progress keepers which you can have a look at in my Etsy shop. So just because I love rose gold, and I couldn't find many like rose gold progress keepers and stitch markers, so I thought, okay, I'll make my own. So I've got these really sweet little stitch markers. These are called Boho Birdie, and there's 2 little birdie stitch markers, and then 3 like simple stitch markers that have just got like a little blush bead on. And then we've got what's happened there? Got a tangle. These are Boho Love, so there's 2 little love heart stitch markers, and then the others are plain with their blush bead on. And we have got, I didn't know what to call these ones, I think I called them Boho Bead. They're just 5 simple little stitch markers with a little blush bead on. And then we have got the Boho Love Progress Keeper. So this time you get a progress keeper and then 6 little stitch markers. And I'll put some photos of these on the show notes page because it's not very clear on the video, I know. And this is the Boho Birdie Progress Keeper, little bird progress keeper. 6 little stitch markers, and then the Boho Bee, which is the one that you saw on my Dust of Snow wrap, with 6 little stitch markers to go with it. So yeah, you can have a look at those in my Etsy shop if you'd like to. And I'm putting some little goodies in with them at the moment because I've only just opened my Etsy shop, and I'm so grateful to those people who've been buying things, so thank you very much. I've been popping a few little extra goodies in just to say thank you, so yeah, pop on over to my Etsy shop if you're interested. Okay, knitting, I think that's all the knitting stuff. Yes, right, on to the giveaway next. Okay, final thing to share with you then is a little a giveaway that I'm going to be running, and it's all about mending rather than spending and buying a new one. I am like really not very good at mending, especially with clothes. I will just kind of put it in the fabric recycling, make a new one, buy a new one, which is so easy to do because clothes are quite cheap these days, and sometimes it's easier just to get a new one. But I want to change that, and that was inspired by me accidentally making a hole in one of my favourite tops. Excuse me. So I decided that we needed to have a mend along. We've done knit alongs, we've done sew alongs, but I thought we could do a mend along where everybody has a go at mending something rather than buying a new one when it gets damaged or gets a hole in, because I'm sure everybody has got a top that's got, you know, like a bit of the stitching's come undone, or like jeans that have got a little hole, or socks that have got a hole in it. We've probably all got something that we could mend. So to take part in the make along, all you have to do is take a photo of something. I just said make along. Oh, I'm leaving it in. Okay, to take a part in the mend along, all you have to do is take a photo of something that you're mending rather than spending on a new one. And then use the hashtag Elderflower Stitches, MAL, so mend along. And make sure that you're following me on Instagram so that you can see when I release when I announce the winner of the make along. So you've got until the end of September. At the end of September I will draw the winner, and they will win some goodies, and they will win this lovely little canvas bag. So this is from a shop called Zero Waste, which at the moment is based in Eastbourne, and you will get 2 bamboo toothbrushes from a company called Plastic Phobia, and a copper, well, I don't know if it's actually copper effect reusable straw with a little cleaning brush. And because it's, you know, knitting and sewing community, you will get a 100-gram skein of hand-dyed yarn. This one is dyed by me, and it currently doesn't have a name, so if you can think of a name, then I'd love for you to share it with us. So it's got all these like light blues, dark blues, and some like more neutral bits. There's like a little tonal. It's 4-ply superwash merino with 25% nylon. Super squishy and lovely. Would be great for some socks or in a shawl, or yeah, whatever you would like to make with it. So you have until the end of September To mend something rather than spend money buying a new one, take a photo and tag me at Elderflower Stitches. Use the hashtag Elderflower Stitches MAL, and make sure you're following me on Instagram so that you can see when I announce the winner, not release the winner. Silly. Okay. I think that is everything for my first knitting and sewing podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you've enjoyed it. I know I really have. And yeah, I'm going to finish up now with some lovely footage of a walk through the woods and a canal boat ride. Thank you very much. Bye guys. Bye.